Okay, so today is Saturday, January 4th, and today I learned a few things that I wanted to share. They're kind of unrelated, but just a few things. So the first thing that I learned is that, at least for me, I need to be examining things more. And I need to be taking that double take a little bit more. And we all know this. We all know, like, don't judge a book by its cover. Don't believe everything you see on the internet. But I think that needs to be applied to more than we think. And it honestly just comes down to just being intentional with things. I've found that being intentional with things requires like further examination, further time working on something, or examining something, or trying to figure something out. If you want to be complete with something, right? You want something to be perfect. Like if you're a perfectionist, I don't really think I'm a perfectionist, but I can have perfectionistic tendencies at times. And I do think that when you are having that, and when you're spending that extra time, when you are being more intentional and examining something more to try to come to the whatever conclusion, come to whatever outcome you want, I think people kind of make perfectionism a bad thing. Like, watch this if you are a perfectionist. But I think being a perfectionist is a good thing, right? It's good that you want everything to be perfect. Now, obviously that can go further than you need it to go, right? But usually, at least for me, usually I know, like, I don't actually need to be doing this. Like, yes, it's perfectionistic, and at times you should be fulfilling that perfectionism, but at times you shouldn't be. And today I just learned that I probably need to be fulfilling that perfectionism a little bit more, at least for me personally. I think that in most situations, you should never be ashamed of working on something more, examining something a little bit more, because it does no harm rather than take time. If you are seriously crunched for time, then you'll know, right? But if you have the time, don't be afraid, don't be ashamed to work on something a little bit more. Just do that extra 1%, right? I try to have this mindset when I'm working out. Like, I'm always thinking just one more rep. And then I do that rep, and then just one more rep. Just trying to do one more every time. And it's helped me a lot, especially with my workouts. It's helped me a lot to have more reps, more growth than I thought I could have. So that's the first thing I learned. I need to be more perfectionistic, which sounds like a lot of people paint it as a bad thing. But I think it's good to be perfectionistic, at least when you're not being perfectionistic enough. I don't really know what I'm saying, but hopefully you understand. The second thing that I learned today is that it's very weird that sometimes I am like, it's okay, you can rest, right? We have break, we have time to, like, you have time, you can not procrastinate, but you can do this thing tomorrow in like a good way, right? Like, you need the rest, you need this. But then at other times I'm like, literally just now, I was like, wake up to reality. I said that to myself. Just wake up to reality and be real with yourself. Don't try to run away from reality. It's just weird that those are two necessary mindsets that you need for, like, you need both of those. You need both the rest, and you also need, like, the deep motivation and, like, pushing yourself hard. And it's hard to find the balance with that. And I've talked about this in lots of different videos, and this is something that I've been talking about a lot and struggling with a lot, because I don't know if I'm being too intense with it, but I also don't know if I'm resting too much, being not intense enough. So it's hard to find the balance between the rest and the intense, like, push your hardest, do this, blah, blah, blah. And I have a tendency to go on that side. I have the tendency to go on, like, the push your hardest, be super intense about things, blah, blah, blah. That's what I tend to do. 10, 20 minutes ago, I was just like, literally wake up to reality. Don't try to run away from reality. And I think that's something I do often. That's something we all do. When you procrastinate, when you're avoiding the mental energy of trying to figure something out, you're just avoiding reality. And I think that is something that I've learned that I need to stop doing. Stop running away from reality. Because you can still face reality without having the super intense, like, mindset. There is a balance between facing your reality with a good intentional mindset, but also not overdoing it, and to still have the mindset of, like, controlling what you can control and not stressing so much about it, and not not avoiding it. I don't really know what I'm saying. I don't really have a conclusion for this, but I just know that, at least for me, I need to find that balance between getting things done with my intentional bias to action mindset, but not overdoing that, and to not letting that seep into the rest of my life. And I don't think it is. I don't think that, well, it is sometimes. Like on Christmas Day, I was stressed about like, oh, I need to get ahead, I need to do all these things. And I think that is not, I don't want to be doing that. And I don't know, I don't really have a conclusion here. I'm just saying, like, I know that there is a balance between doing what you need to do within your allotted time, but not letting that seep into the rest of your life. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that the second thing I learned is that there is a balance between super crazy, go hard at everything, do everything to your best of your ability, you have to do this, you have to do that, which I think is what I am mostly like, and I like having that mindset, which is kind of bad because I don't think it's very healthy. But there's a balance between that and it's okay, like, let your day flow, and like, you can procrastinate until tomorrow, and like, oh, today's a rest day, so you don't actually need that to do that. I'm just frustrated because I want to be super go hard at everything. I want to be super, like, optimize every single minute of your life. I want to do that. But when I try to do that, it doesn't work. And I'm always end up just falling into a deep pit of tiredness and rest. And then I stay in that rest. Once I have recovered, I don't get back up. That's what I'm frustrated with, because that is my problem. I just wish I could just go hard at everything and like be super optimized, be super like great at everything. But that's like not realistic at all. I don't know what I'm saying, because life is hard and I have to deal with that hardness of life some way or another, and I can't just stay in my little pit. I have to get back up and do my hardest, and when the time calls for it, I need to be super intentional and perfectionistic with my work, but I also need to understand that that is not every single time. That's not every single minute of my life. I don't know, this is kind of just a message for myself, I guess. If this resonated with you, then I'd love to know, like, what have you done in the past to help you with this? If you have this problem, are you struggling with this? The last thing that I learned today is that having to do with focus, I guess. Today I found out that I focus really well when I am around other people who are also focusing. I don't know if this is true for you. I don't know if this is a universal thing, but every time I study with someone else, or we're all focusing, like a bunch of people, or maybe not even a bunch of people, maybe even just like 3 or 4 people, and we're all focused, like genuinely everyone is focusing on their own thing. I have found that has been very helpful for my focus. Like, I can focus in that time because seeing those people focusing motivates me to keep focusing. That's just something that I found out today for focusing, and I have realized that I don't do that. Very often I am holed up in my little room all by myself, working on my own stuff, and it's very secluded from everyone else. So this is just personally for me. Hopefully, maybe you're also one of those people who just really focuses well with other people who are also focusing. So this is just a small thing when you are trying to be super intentional with that work. I believe if you're trying to be perfectionistic and super intentional with your work, that requires focus. I talked about that in my 2024 resolutions video, which, by the way, will be linked in the description of this video as well as at the end of this video. But I do think that kind of intentional, like, perfectionistic work happens when you're in deep work, when you're really focused. And when I need to have that, I need other people. I don't need other people, but it is very useful for me to have other people who are also doing the same thing. So just personally for me, I'm kind of telling myself this, focus with other people more often. Now this is hard because, like, I don't have a car and, like, I can't just, like, go focus with other people whenever I want. But this is kind of just a message for myself, and hopefully this kind of thing is helpful for you too. Focus with other people more often. Like, have focus study sessions. And as I'm talking right now, and my sister has mentioned this as an idea for this channel, I'm wondering if you guys would want to do, like, live study sessions or live focus sessions, so that we can just, like, I'll start a live stream and we'll have, like, a Pomodoro timer and we can just focus all together. Because I do think that if I do that, that would replicate the same effect, right? So this is completely a side note. Let me know if you'd like to see that. Would you like to see live, maybe even daily or weekly, like focus sessions, study sessions, where I'll have a timer and we'll have like a focus timer and then a break timer. And then in the break, I can like answer questions, we can hang out, chill, and then we can get back to focusing. Let me know if you want to see that kind of thing, because I think that would be really fun and I think that would be very useful for my focus. So, this video was super unorganized and I was kind of just yapping, but if you had to take away one thing from this video, well, there's a few things you could take away from this video. There is a balance between perfectionistic, go hard at everything, optimize every single minute of your life, and rest, right? Work and rest. There's a balance between work and rest. Deep work, actually focused, true perfectionistic work, and actually good for you, true, actually relaxing, not worried about your responsibilities, rest. There's a balance between that. And you cannot go super hard at one thing. You can't extend yourself to the extreme of this end or this end, right? You have to keep that balance. It has to be a level balance. And that is just something I've been struggling with recently. That is this journey, that is something that I just have been trying to figure out recently. And through life, I'm ongoing trying to figure out how to balance those parts of my life. So one thing that I learned today about this side of your life when you're trying to be super perfectionistic and intentional is that don't be ashamed to spend that extra 1%, spend that extra 5 minutes trying to improve something. I don't think you should be ashamed of being perfectionistic because it's a good quality to have, right? Being perfectionistic means that you're trying to just make everything as good as possible, and that's fine, right? At least if you define perfectionism that way. So I would say that don't be ashamed of being a perfectionist. That's one thing. That's one thing you can take away. But also find those cues, find those enablers to being in that intentional focus state so that you can actually intentionally focus well on this side of things, right? Find those things. And for me, that's going to some place that is like not my usual environment, changing up the environment, and focusing with other people who are also focusing, right? So that's on this side of things. Hopefully tomorrow I'll learn something about this side of things because that's kind of the side that I'm most struggling with, the side of rest. But yeah, that is what I learned today. If this connected with you at all, if you resonated with this, if you have any thoughts, if you know what to do on this side of things, or you also have other thoughts about this side of things, then I would love to hear them in the comments down below. We're trying to just get better at life together one day at a time. That's the goal of this channel. I'm learning from you guys and you're learning from me. And we're just trying to get better at life one day at a time. So if you want to get daily videos talking about what I learned today and how I'm trying to apply it to my life and how you guys can apply it to yours, then definitely subscribe. I'm also posting monthly videos that are like more well-produced, better videos. I recently posted my January video, which is about New Year's resolutions. So like I said, in the description, as well as right here, you can subscribe in this corner. And if you subscribe, I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye!